Hey everybody, Barry here again. I'm getting dangerously close to firing this thing up. I've said that a lot, but again, I'm getting dangerously close. Obviously it doesn't look like much at the moment, but tonight I'm going to start assembling things. I've got my wiring done, well, the fuse block, and I just went ahead and mounted that to the stock fuse block on the van. Now I can, start going at this stuff here, hooking up the power cable, and I'll probably run it just to this stud here. That way it's a nice and short connection there. I'll run the ground down here probably to this location. That way I'll only have to run it along the frame and come up here. And that'll work out really, really well. Another thing is I have to start really putting parts on. So I'm going to bolt the starter on, bolt on the manifolds, turbo, intake manifold, all that stuff, because I can't do my wiring if there's no intake on it. I don't know where the wires are going to run. I have to run the wires well away from the exhaust manifolds. That was my issue last time. They were a little bit too close. They were like 4 inches away, but it got hot. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'll basically start right with the starter, I would say, because that is way down there and I won't be able to get at it with the manifolds on it. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see how far it takes me. The only hard part is everything is in there. And I got to try and climb in there and get all my parts. I got all my parts out, and I figured a lot of new people on the go here lately. So first off, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching the videos. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And then I thought about, you guys probably don't know what's going on here. Probably don't know what all of this is. So just background. I've been on the go now for about a year, but I got a lot of projects on the go. 57 Chev truck, 79 Datsun 280 ZX, which hasn't been on the channel like at all. This thing, 2014 Grand Caravan. Right now, it is a 6-liter Gen 4, and well, Gen 3.5, whatever you want to call it. It's an 05. And a 4L80E out of some plow truck that I took apart, realized everything was burnt to a crisp, took another one apart, wasn't as bad, put all the guts in this one. So that's a couple of videos ago. That was quite a mess. It was the first time I ever touched an automatic. And so that's put together, modified the cradle to fit this thing. And right now is a perfect time to give you a rundown on the cradle because you can actually see it. So this is pieces that I put in. The only bit of original cradle is down here in under the engine. I only used the part that the control arm bolts to. That's it. Everything else is all tubular. Like I think it's 2.5 inch inside Schedule 40 pipe for the 2 cross members, and then 1x3 or 1.5 by 3 square stock for the 2 front horns. Solid engine mounts, that's 2-inch inside pipe with a flange bolted directly to the engine because I hate engine mounts. For whatever reason, I always tear them up. I did have a 5-speed in this. It was an NV3500. Got rid of it because I don't like shifting gears. I'd rather go fast. Yeah, I said it. So, yeah, 4L80E, had to modify that, got it done. When I get it up on the ramp again, which is going to be a little while because it's here and the ramp is there, and this thing is really, really hard to move around. But, yeah, let's talk about parts. So here is obviously the water pump, and I drilled and tapped it to fit a 1/8 NPT to quarter hose because I'm using the van radiator and it doesn't have the nipple for the steam vent hose to clip onto. So I feed it right in the back of the water pump. That's pretty common stuff. Here's the intake manifold, regular cathedral port truck intake. I shaved the top of it. It's got a Band-Aid on it because the first engine I put in this was an aluminum 5.3. It lost oil pressure and it started going knock, 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 knock. So I said, well, quick fix. Stuck a Band-Aid on it. it put 3 rods out through the block that day. Yeah, there's also that video where in first person view I was like, oh, bleep, boom. It was a good time. So there's that. I shaved that one a while ago. This here's the muffler. It's a 70mm cat. I think it's a Borg Warner. And this thing makes noises. It makes beautiful, wonderful noises. It makes boost relatively quick, up around 3200, 3400. It was making boost. Now that was with like 8.5 to 1 or 8.7 or something, because I had 5.3 with 6-liter heads on it, which was absolute garbage for compression. So it didn't make boost really fast. This thing is the regular, I don't know, 9.5, whatever it is. So hopefully it'll make boost a little bit faster. But there's that. It's a T6 hot side, 70mm inlet, 90-something millimeter extruder, and I'm not sure what the exhaust is. Here is my crossover that I made. This is the driver's side manifold, comes down, across, passenger side manifold comes down, up into the turbo. It's flux core, it's ugly, but it does a trick. And it's got a real nice merge. It took me 3 tries to make this, but I finally got it. And then it goes up into the T6 flange, which is just open. And my wastegate is here. This has no trouble holding like 5 PSI, which I run it on 15, so I could care less if it creeps or not. Because, you know, whatever. I've broken lots of pistons. I'm used to it. I can change them in a day. I'd rather not, but that's what happens when you've got 91 gas. That's, I would say, is probably 87 at best. Here are my manifolds. These are regular truck manifolds. Lots of people seen this done. Cut the flanges off, modified them, made my own. And this is the Caravan exhaust flange, as is this. And I just basically welded it all on. It doesn't leak. There would be soot, but there's no soot. And everything is good. And it doesn't leak here because of an excessive amount of ultra copper. And you can tell that it got super hot. These were black. I painted them black. They are no longer black. Now they're chalky white. So that's a rundown on all the random custom work that I did. Everything here is in previous videos, so if you want to check back the playlist, I'm going to try to sort my playlist a lot better, because it's just a whole mess of videos, like 100 and something videos in there, and you'll never be able to find anything. So I'll try to group it up into major fabrication, like the cradle, and then rear differential stuff, and I'll try my best. I'm quite unorganized. But with that all being said, which was a lot, it was quite a speech, I apologize. I'm going to go and do some work. First, I'm going to bolt on the starter, and then I'll probably work on getting the manifolds, crossover, turbo bolted on. So at least by the end of the night, it'll look like I did something. Well, 10-second update. I got manifolds on. I just used ultra copper and put bolts in hand tight. Gotta wait, I don't know, 15-20 minutes or something, and then finish and tighten them down. That's what it says on tube. I am now getting the Y pipe in. I had to take the dump tube off the wastegate because it wouldn't fit, but that's pretty much ready to bolt on. And I just wanted to say, if you really want to piss off like the whole internet, fill your oil filter before you put it on. Because I put a video out of this thing on Facebook, like Reels or whatever. I was like, I'll just make somebody laugh. I got 500 comments, people saying, you're an idiot, why do you fill up filters? You're gonna blow up the whole world. You're dumb. So I had a good laugh. And there's still people who are pretty salty about it. One guy's like, you're dumb, and I love it. So, yeah. I got this thing installed, which I forgot to actually talk about. New filter. I had the bracket tipped up this way because I wanted to fill the hoses up. I know obviously one hose runs back to the pump and down into the oil pan, but if the sump is submerged, it should pretty much suspend the oil up in the hoses anyway, and it should fill the pump up. So at least that'll be primed, and then fill the filter full of oil, screwed it on. So at the very least, it should have oil pressure like pretty much immediately. That's a good thing, because my last two engines failed because of lack of oil pressure. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Anyway, I'm going to bolt this flange to that one. That flange to that one. More abundance of ultra copper. And then I think I'll bolt turbo on. I missed this view so much. Look at that thing. That's a monster. Oh, I love turbos. They hate me. This is my 6th engine. 7th engine. I'm almost up to double digits now, but more turbo. More boost. A little bit less timing. But starting to make some progress. Y pipe is all bolted on. Looks good there. Lots and lots of ultra copper. You can see here that of course my transmission lines are not going to work in the location that they're in, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm going to cut them off back here farther, run them along the frame, in under, and then up to the cooler, which is going to be like here somewhere, wherever. Everything else is looking really, really nice. Obviously, I don't need the internal wastegate because my external is right here. So I made up a little bracket, welded that shut, nothing serious. Makes boost, makes noise, all good. I'm starting to like that engine bay. This is the first time that this hasn't had a painted engine in it, and it's kind of killing me. But I put one engine in. Cost me a pile of money and time to paint it. Cleaned it up. Took 2 weeks cleaning it up and painting it. And it lasted 4 hours. Second engine, same idea. Painted it up. Another 4 hours. So I'm not spending another cent or another second painting that engine until I know that it's good. If I go to pull the engine out again for any reason, if transmission gives me trouble, whatever, if the engine is fine, I'll probably paint it. But not right now. You can see here what I was going for with the steam port. Just comes out of the top like it normally does, right into the back of the water pump. All the air bubbles go in here, shoot out the top hose, across, out the radiator. All good. It's pretty cool because the bottom hose out of the engine fits directly into the rad. The top hose that normally comes out of the truck rad comes over here, fits perfect. And my turbo drain comes out down and under here. It's pretty freaky because there's like several pieces, but it does work fine. Comes out of the turbo, comes down here across and down right directly into the pan, right in front of the sump. Now that I have the exhaust on, all the hot side is done, turbo's on, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the intake manifold on, and that will be pretty much the final piece that has to be bolted onto the engine so I can start wiring. When this is in place, I can plug in my injectors, I can plug in the IAC, throttle position sensor, map sensor up here, don't mind the zip ties, and then I can start wiring my harness, which will be like down here somewhere, start wiring it into my fuse panel. I like it. I'm a big fan. It's starting to look good again. Intake manifold's all bolted on. I sprayed a little bit of everything cleaner on it just to calm it down a little bit. But it's all good. Throttle cable's hooked up. Fuel line's hooked up in the back. It's starting to look like an engine bay again. I can't wait to get this thing running. It's getting way closer now than what it was yesterday. Just to get this thing running, to make sure that it's good, to make sure that the engine is going to run, make sure there's no bearings falling out of it, because I didn't touch the bottom end. I didn't take the heads off. I have no idea what's inside this thing. The guy said, give me 150 bucks and take it. I took it out of a truck, lost transmission, so I scrapped it. Here's the engine. It's been on the floor for like 2 years. I changed the push rods. Well, I changed a handful of push rods because they were kind of sanded on the top. Changed the matching rockers, and that's literally it. I have no idea what it's going to do. So what I'm going to do is probably just loop these transmission hoses just for now. Hook the intake up to the turbo just for now. And when I do put the harness on, I'll just run all the wires to power like I did before just to get it running. Run the fuel pump there and just fire it up because I want to hear what it sounds like. If it's going to go knock, 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 rattle, 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 I'm going to have to pull it back out again. Then it'll be number 4. I hope that doesn't happen. So, you know, I'd like to know for sure that this is going to be okay. But yeah, so I'm going to finish it up here because I got a lot done tonight. I'm really happy with what I did get done. I'm going to go home and watch a movie with my girls, get them put to bed for school tomorrow, and I have work tomorrow, so I'm going to finish it up. But on that note, I would like to thank everybody for watching again. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks to my Patreon supporters. I always have a little screen at the end to thank the guys. And anybody who would like to support, it's at the moment I only have one tier. It's like starts at $3 Canadian general support. But I do have merch, so I will be adding that really, really shortly. As soon as I can figure out how to make it. Patreon has its own merch program where I just have to upload my images and my designs and apply them to various things like hats or mugs, t-shirts, stickers, whatever, for different tiers of supporters. So that's something to look forward to coming up. And I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Anybody who's helped me out, which have been a lot of people. Buddy Glenn Stuckless gave me this turbo. He said, come in and get it. Turbo's perfect. Come in, I already got it taken off for you. Kirk Tarrant for the bus bars and some plugins. John Wiseman with the fuse block. Just loads of people. So I appreciate it so much. I'm only a small channel. I'm just a guy who works at CarQuest. So yeah, this is also a shout out to CarQuest. So why are parts here? So I'm going to finish it up here. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great night.